There's a belief factor that's incredible in television, and it's not true in any other medium.
Gilligan's Island, a show that seemed almost too ridiculous to last, has become one of the most iconic television series in history. Despite its short three-season run, it captured the hearts of audiences everywhere, creating a cultural footprint that still lingers today. From its quirky castaways to their outlandish island escapades, the show wasn't just a comedy. It was a phenomenon. But what if I told you there's more to the Gilligan's Island story than meets the eye? Behind the goofy antics and the catchy theme song, there are hidden feuds, fascinating inspirations, and unexpected connections that the cast tried to keep under wraps. From secret rivalries between the leading ladies to the real-life struggles of the cast, there's a whole other side to the beloved sitcom that fans may not know. So, let's dive into the 13 secrets the Gilligan's Island cast tried to keep hidden. Stay tuned to uncover the truth behind the show that captured a generation's heart and stayed in the public's mind long after it went off air. The idea for Gilligan's Island came from a rather unexpected place, a dream. Sherwood Schwartz, the show's creator, dreamed of a group of people stranded on an island, each with distinct personalities that had to find a way to survive together. His daughter, Hope Schwartz-Huber, explained that her father's vision was much deeper than just comedy. He saw the island as a microcosm of Earth itself, where diverse individuals are stuck together and must figure out how to coexist. This idea of unity through adversity became the backbone of the entire series. While the show's premise of a group of castaways stuck on a deserted island might seem absurd, it was actually the show's heart that made it stand out. It wasn't just about getting off the island. It was about the relationships, the conflicts, and the humor that arose from these vastly different people trying to make the best of their strange situation. The blend of comedy with a subtle, yet meaningful, message about teamwork and resilience gave the show its charm. The episodes were filled with over-the-top antics, but at their core, they always reflected this deeper, universal message. No matter how different we are, we're all in this together. This underlying theme helped Gilligan's Island connect with audiences and gave it the staying power to remain a beloved classic. The SS Minnow, the iconic boat that carried the castaways on their fateful journey, has become one of the most memorable elements of Gilligan's Island. But have you ever wondered why it was called the Minnow? The name was no random choice. It was a cheeky jab at a powerful figure in the television world. The boat was named after Newton Minnow, the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, at the time. In 1961, Minnow famously declared that television was a vast wasteland, criticizing the state of the industry for offering little more than shallow, mindless programming. Schwartz, the creator of Gilligan's Island, wasn't a fan of this opinion. He believed that television had much more to offer, and as a bit of clever satire, he named the boat after Minnow, turning the critics' harsh words into a running gag for the show. This subtle act of defiance not only added a layer of humor to the show, but it also aligned with Schwartz's broader belief in television's potential to tell meaningful stories. The boat's name became a symbol of the show's stance against the idea that TV was a wasteland. It was more than that, and Gilligan's Island proved it. Despite Gilligan's Island becoming a beloved classic, the cast had no idea they were working on a show that would leave such a lasting impact. In fact, most of them thought they had joined a sinking ship from the very beginning. Natalie Schafer, who played Mrs. Howell, was excited about filming the pilot in Hawaii, but she didn't think the show would be successful. According to Joey Green, author of the unofficial Gilligan's Island handbook, Schafer assumed the show would never be picked up, and the others shared the same doubts. Tina Louise, who played Ginger, didn't expect the show to last beyond 6 months. She even felt that her role as the glamorous movie star wasn't going to be the focal point she had hoped for. Bob Denver, the actor behind the bumbling Gilligan, was also skeptical. He had already starred in another quirky sitcom, The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis, and wasn't sure about taking on another oddball role. But it was his love for physical comedy and his connection with Alan Hale, the skipper, that ultimately convinced him to join the show. Even though the show was canceled after only 3 seasons to make room for Gunsmoke, its legacy was far from over. Syndication kept Gilligan's Island alive. turning it into one of the most iconic shows in TV history, far exceeding anyone's expectations. What seemed like a short-lived failure became a cultural phenomenon. It's almost poetic that the pilot for Gilligan's Island, a show about being stranded on a deserted island, was itself delayed. The first episode, titled Two on a Raft, didn't air until September 26, 1964, though it wasn't the first episode that was originally planned. The details of the characters in the original pilot were drastically different from what viewers came to know and love. In the initial version, Ginger and the Professor were played by entirely different actors. Instead of the wholesome Mary there was a blonde airhead named Bunny. The Professor was originally depicted as a high school teacher rather than a brilliant scientist, and Ginger was not a movie star but a secretary. These early changes weren't the only hurdles the pilot faced. It was filmed and wrapped up on November 22, 1963, the same day that President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. The cast, filming in Hawaii, didn't immediately learn of the tragic news. But when they did, they gathered around a radio to listen to updates. If you look closely in the opening credits of Season 1, there's a subtle tribute to the event. The American flag flies at half-mast as the SS Minnow leaves port. The pilot, despite being a rough draft, was shelved after production, only to be rediscovered later. Had it not been for a curious employee at Gilligan's Island studio who stumbled upon it, the original pilot might have stayed hidden in the archives forever. For fans of Gilligan's Island, the rivalry between Ginger and Mary was as much a part of the show's charm as the slapstick humor. While the characters themselves were polar opposites, Ginger, the glamorous movie star, and Mary the sweet farm girl, this rivalry didn't just stay on screen. It spilled over behind the scenes as well. Louise, the actress who played Ginger, was never fully happy with the role. She wanted to be seen as more than just the beautiful movie star and often felt overshadowed by the popularity of her castmates. She even admitted that she didn't get along with some of the other actors, which led to her reluctance to return for the Gilligan's Island TV movies. In fact, she was the only original cast member not to appear in them, fueling speculation about her tensions with the rest of the group. On the flip side, Dawn Wells, who portrayed Mary leaned into the rivalry. She embraced her role as the lovable, down-to-earth counterpart to Ginger. In fact, she even wore a t-shirt that read Ginger or Mary embracing the ongoing fan debate. Dawn had a playful take on the rivalry, saying, "You can go anywhere and say Ginger or Mary and everyone knows exactly what you mean. And I always win." The debate between fans over which character was better became a cultural phenomenon, and it's still a point of discussion among Gilligan's Island fans today. Despite their behind-the-scenes tensions, both characters, along with their actresses, became beloved figures, forever cementing their place in TV history. The impact of Gilligan's Island goes beyond just being a popular show. Its legacy lives on in surprising ways, but not all of them are nostalgic. For instance, the iconic lagoon set where the castaways spent their days was eventually paved over in 1995 to make room for parking at CBS Studio Center. Dawn Wells, who played Mary reflected on the loss, saying, "They've paved over a lot of memories, as far as I'm concerned." But the Gilligan's Island influence didn't stop at the studio lot. The show also left a mark on literature. In 2003, a novel titled Gilligan's Wake was published. Unlike other fanfiction-inspired works, this novel didn't adapt the storyline of the show. Instead, it loosely used the show as a springboard for 7 interconnected stories about the lives of the castaways before they found themselves stranded on the island. The novel took on a much darker, more reflective tone, exploring how stories shape our lives and the lasting imprint that Gilligan's Island left on popular culture. What's fascinating about Gilligan's Wake is that it acknowledges the power of the show, even for those who may not have had a deep attachment to it. The characters, forever etched in the minds of millions, became a cultural reference point that transcended the original TV series. They are, as the book's author put it, branded into your brain. So, what's your favorite Gilligan's Island episode? Let us know in the comments below. Whether it's the hilariously bizarre antics or the surprisingly heartfelt moments, the legacy of Gilligan's Island continues to influence generations.